I let my sister stay with us after her divorce. 6 months later, I found her in my husband's car at 2 a.m. What began as kindness turned into the ultimate betrayal under the same roof. I've always believed that family comes first, especially when it comes to my sister Maya. She's had a rough life, and her marriage was the final blow. Years of emotional abuse, constant gaslighting, and a husband who cheated without shame. When she finally filed for divorce, she called me one night crying, her voice broken and desperate. She said she couldn't spend another night alone in that empty apartment. I didn't even think twice. I told her, "Come here, stay with us. You'll have your own room. Stay as long as you need." My husband, Eric, didn't hesitate either. He helped carry her bags in that very same night. He even made her tea while she cried on our couch. I remember standing in the doorway, watching them, and thinking how lucky I was to have a man so kind, so empathetic. It felt like we were doing the right thing, opening our home to someone who had nothing left. And in the beginning, it was. The first few weeks, Maya kept to herself. She helped around the house, did some laundry, and binge-watched shows in her room. She was quiet, respectful, grateful. Or at least, that's what I thought. Then little things started to change. Maya got really into fitness, practically overnight. She bought leggings, crop tops, even started wearing makeup around the house, something she hadn't done in months. I told myself it was a good thing. She was rebuilding her confidence, right? That's what I wanted for her. But the timing was strange. She waited until I went to bed to hang out with Eric. I'd wake up at midnight and find them laughing in the kitchen, baking cookies or brownies like it was some slumber party. I'd walk in and they'd go quiet. Maya would giggle and say, "Oh, we were just making something sweet." And Eric would nod like it was totally normal. I tried to ignore it. I really did. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was just tired and stressed. But deep down, something felt off. Eric was suddenly working late more often. Maya stopped mentioning plans to move out. And when I asked either of them basic questions, what they talked about, what they did while I was out, their answers started to blur together in this weird, practiced vagueness. That's when the voice in my head started whispering. A voice I tried to silence because I didn't want to believe it. But it was there, and it was growing louder every day. It was a Tuesday night when everything shifted. I couldn't sleep. There was this weird pressure in my chest, like something heavy was sitting on it. Not pain exactly, just unease, a gut feeling I couldn't shake. I got up to get some water, walked quietly through the house, and noticed something strange. The silence. Our home wasn't supposed to be this silent at night. Maya's door was cracked open, and her bed was empty. Eric wasn't in ours either. I moved toward the front window, pulled back the curtain just enough to peek outside. That's when I saw the car. Eric's car parked in the driveway with the interior light on. At first, I thought maybe he was grabbing something. Maybe he left his wallet or phone in there. But then I saw them. Eric in the driver's seat, Maya in the passenger, sitting there like they were out on a date. No urgency, no panic, just talking, laughing, close. I squinted, my heart hammering. Her hand was on his knee. His face was turned toward hers, relaxed. It wasn't the body language of a casual conversation. It wasn't how you talk to your sister-in-law at 2 a.m, in a car, in secret. I stood there frozen, watching the scene unfold like I wasn't real. Like I was the ghost in this story. I backed away from the window slowly, careful not to make a sound. I didn't confront them. I couldn't. Not yet. I spent that night in a fog. My mind ran circles around what I saw, trying to explain it away, trying to justify the unjustifiable. But I couldn't sleep. I couldn't think straight. And the next day, I couldn't pretend anymore. Something was happening, and I needed proof. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I took an old phone, charged it up, and placed it behind the laundry basket near the hallway. It was angled just right to catch the living room, where they liked to hang out when I wasn't around. Over the next few days, I played detective. I paid attention to everything. When they talked, when they smiled too long, when Eric brushed past her, and she didn't flinch. I checked receipts in his wallet, tracked his location, and monitored the smallest shifts in behavior. It was sickening. And then came the moment I both feared and expected. I played back one of the recordings. There was Maya, laughing, flirting, asking Eric if he thought I'd suspect anything. And Eric, he said, "Not unless we're stupid." Then he laughed with her, laughed, like this was all some private joke they shared. That's when the shock wore off and something else settled in. Rage, not loud, not dramatic, cold, focused, and very, very real. It was a quiet Sunday when I finally decided I'd had enough. I didn't want to scream. I didn't want a dramatic fight. I wanted clarity, finality. So I told them both that morning, "Let's have dinner together tonight, just the three of us. It's been a while." Maya smiled and said sure. Eric looked unsure, but he agreed. I cooked like I used to, calm, precise, mechanical. They had no idea they were walking into their own reckoning. We sat down at the table around 7. I served the plates, poured the drinks, and halfway through the meal, I reached into the drawer beside me and pulled out my phone. I placed it gently on the table between us, unlocked it, and hit play. The audio was grainy, but clear enough. Eric's voice laughing, Maya's giggle, her saying, "She's so clueless." Him replying, "As long as we don't get caught." There was a long, heavy silence at the table. Neither of them moved. Maya stared at the plate like it would save her. Eric's eyes flicked to mine, then back to the phone, then down. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't even ask why. I just looked at both of them, the man I built a life with and the sister I once would have died for. And I said, "You both need to leave. Tonight." Eric opened his mouth to speak, but I cut him off with one sentence. "There's nothing left to say." Maya didn't argue. She just stood up and walked out of the room like a shadow disappearing in the dark. Eric stayed a little longer, trying to justify it, claiming it was a mistake, a lapse, nothing serious. But the audio told me everything I needed to know. They didn't regret what they did. They regretted getting caught. It's been 5 months since that night. I filed for divorce. I went no contact with Maya. My house is quiet now, really quiet, but peaceful in a way it never was before. I started therapy. I started journaling again. I even rearranged the furniture in the living room, like I was exorcising the ghosts they left behind. And little by little, I'm learning to trust myself again. The hardest part wasn't losing them. It was realizing they were never really mine to begin with. Betrayal doesn't always come with warning signs. Sometimes it's slow, subtle. It grows in the silence, in the shared glances, in the late-night laughs you tell yourself not to question. But now, I've learned to trust my gut. Because when I look back, I realize I knew. I always knew. And despite everything, I'm grateful. Because now I know what love should never look like. And I'll never let anyone make me feel crazy for listening to my own instincts again.